Good evening. I got Justin Williams from the ACT Foundation of West Virginia here. Justin, good evening.
Hello, Brian. How are you?
Good, good. So we're talking this quarter of this year, first quarter, about every member matters in our union, and I want you to talk about the importance of our members collectively in the building trades, and specifically want to talk about this Marshall study that the ACT Foundation had done about the impact of our membership. So go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. So we work with the West Virginia Building Trades, which is, covers all the trades underneath the unions here. And so we've got the 15 crafts that we have and over 24,000 members, across the state that really do drive the economy of West Virginia. And that's really, I think we all know it, but that's why we did this Marshall study to put some real numbers behind it for, your members, all of our members to know they really do matter. They really matter in our communities, in our towns. We
Yes.
all live in different places, but collectively we make West Virginia better. And, it's kind of cliche, but like we really do build West Virginia and build its economy. And so,
Yes.
it was really important to be able to have these hard numbers to take to people and say, oh yeah, oh yeah, you got a lot of people, that's great. But when you talk about billions of dollars of impact to the state of West Virginia, people start to listen then. And so, the study we did kind of looked at the work hours from 2022 to 2023 years. And so, you know, they were pretty good years. We were coming out of, the COVID era, and so things were starting to pick up. And so in that window, $8 billion of economic activity in West Virginia is what our members drove through, right? And so that's wages, benefits, indirect spending, and the secondary jobs that come from what we do. So,
Yes.
supporting local businesses, buying new cars, buying new trucks, shopping at grocery stores, convenience stores, the people that are impacted in those areas where, these projects are and where our members live, and go back to when they spend the wages and the benefits that they have here and there. And that includes supporting our hospital systems across the state, which is, another big part of that um, impact that we have. So,
Yes. I tell my members the impact that our members have just in my union on the local economy is astonishing, and we don't realize it. We really are job creators. We're blue collar workers working hard, but we also create a lot of jobs by the wages and benefits that we get. And those are some impressive numbers. And, 24,000 workers and the amount of money that we generate back into the economy. And this study was only for West Virginia. Yeah.
yeah.
So if you think about the tri-state area, it's even more of an
Yeah, I
impact.
mean, if you factor in, and that's, some big projects across the region, right? And so, you get in there and it's an even bigger, grander number in that tri-state area, our surrounding kind of neighbors. And so it really is important. And it really is because, the work we're doing, whether it be pipelines, power generation, building new hospitals or commercial or residential, bigger residential or industrial, it lets other people go to work or continue to go to work in those facilities. So the work we do, not only, and that doesn't even that study doesn't really even take into effect that, impact, right? Whether we're in a plant or at a powerhouse when we're doing shutdown work or whatever the case may be, like that's really letting that facility continue to grow, to continue to operate, and people to go to work there for the next generation of workers.
Yes, which is even more money. And so on the study, and I read the study, it was a great study by Marshall University around specifically the building trades, right? The blue collar construction workers. And it shows for every dollar that our members earn in wages and benefits, $1.64 is put back into the economy.
Yeah.
What are any type of local politicians on a state or to a local level? What do they have to say about this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been really impactful with elected folks across the state. both at the state house and at a regional level. Um, you know, we've done part of our work here has really been to focus on trying to educate those elected officials on what the building trades are, what our members do, and really what they bring to the community and why they should support union construction because we are giving back to the community and we are driving that economy. I mentioned, you said that $1.60 return. It also talks about, our work is supporting 38,000 jobs across the state. So it's not just our work. Like I mentioned, it's a huge number and it's, you know, we're 5 billion of direct of that 8 billion. It's 5 billion direct and 3 billion is in that added economic growth. So that's your $1.60 return. So 5 billion was spent in construction, 3 billion came out of that 5 billion. So I mean almost an even bigger than that return. And I think since the study, it's even grown even more, right? What our members are doing, the projects we're working on, and I'm hopeful that it continues to grow with some of the announcements we've seen. With some of the energy projects coming, and there's a good amount of work kind of on the horizon, and I think there's some really great opportunity there. And the other impact that I think we have is in the training and safety and our apprenticeship programs. You know,
Yes.
over over $50 million a year goes into those apprenticeship programs across the state. And we have 27 locations in West Virginia, and we're training, the next generation of worker and your facility is top notch and so are so many of our others around the state. And we're investing our own money into training these folks to
Yes.
help the next generation, to help our members get better skills, to be able to go out and do a better job. And for politicians, that's better return on their investment if it's some type of public fund, right? If we're going to go out here and do
Absolutely.
work
Yes.
on
Yeah.
a project, a county commission building or a city hall, they should want the best trained, drug-free worker out there doing it because then they're getting it done right, they're getting it done on time, and it's saving taxpayers' dollars.
Absolutely. And you throw out those numbers of the amount of training centers and the money that is put into trainings throughout all the trades, building trades in West Virginia. And those young men and women in these trades are learning a trade at no cost. They don't carry debt. They're learning a trade, which it just helps so much the economy because they become a skilled tradesperson. They stay here, they work here, they invest their money here, they raise their families here, and then money just stays here. And in a time when people are saying we don't have enough skilled workers, and it shows we need more people in the trades. Um,
But for
we
too
are
long,
doing it.
yeah, for too long, people, West Virginia, Appalachia has sent its folks out of the state into
Yes.
different places. And, the skilled trade people are the ones who have stayed and one who have kept the economy going. Without them, I don't know what West Virginia would have, right? I mean,
Right.
it would be really, really difficult. And I think, yeah, we are seeing a change in attitude and cultures to the trades. And I think that's really good. And, we've worked on some other projects trying to get people, associate's degrees and different things to really ramp up, the value you're getting with your apprenticeship program, the training you're getting, not just in that skill, but, it's providing for your family, right? With health
Yes.
insurance, with pensions, so not only is it the direct spending, but a healthy workforce is a better workforce. So when our members have insurance and are able to go out and continue to work because they can get care when they need it, their families can get care when they need it, and not be relying on the government for that as well. And so, you know, it for local politicians, it should be a win-win for all of this because that's what we want. We want to provide for our communities. We're not asking for anything. Our folks are self-sufficient. All they want to do is get up, provide for their families, go to work, do a good job, and come home and work and help their communities. And it's what makes my
Yeah.
job and yours easy because we represent good people.
That's right. It's all about respectable living, and it's all about a fair day's wage for a fair day's work.
That's right.
That's always what it's been about. One of the things that I try to talk about, and I don't think we talk about it enough, is, there's a lot of talk in West Virginia around rural health care, the rural hospitals, the rural facilities. And, you look at the direct impact our health and welfare funds have on these facilities is tremendous.
Yeah.
Um, Billions of dollars for all the trades together. And not only the hospitals, but the medical doctors, the specialists, the pharmacists, our funds, our healthcare coverage funds are paying for this and helping support that industry, which is very critical in West Virginia.
Yeah, I mean we've pulled a lot of that and we focused on the hospital data. It's the easiest to track because if we tried to get every doctor's office, health fund to get every doctor's office appointment, it'd be millions and millions of entries of data. But with what we did with hospitals and healthcare, I mean across all the building trades over like the last 5 years, it's billions of dollars and about $350 million dollars kind of or about $120 million dollars a year. 350 million every 2 years is kind of where we're at as far as spending across the trades. And for a small hospital, Roan General, right? I mean, that's a
Yes.
big chunk of their pay that we're spending, you know, $2 million a year at Roan General Hospital. I mean, you know, talk about keeping that very critical hospital to that community afloat. That's what our trades are able to do. I mean, keep those people, those nurses and doctors in that community, because otherwise that shuts
Yes.
down. They're going 2 hours away to Parkersburg or to Charleston. So,
Yes. And I always say that our members should be working on those projects
yeah,
because they live in those communities. They should be building those hospitals and rural healthcare facilities, but their insurance plans cover them to spend their money there
that's right.
also. And it's just a reinvestment. And it's so important
And
that's why we ask healthcare facilities, hey, use contractors whose workers have healthcare coverage.
that's right.
Use
And
us.
that's all we're asking for in all these work, right? We want local workers who are
Yes.
investing back in their communities to get this work and do it with some fairness because, you know, with our people and having insurance and going into those hospitals,
Mm.
yeah, you might pay a little bit more, but you're going to get a good product and we're reinvesting in your hospital. And so they don't always see, and this is the reason we did this study is we wanted to pull, right? Because a hospital gets a payment from whoever your plan administrator is, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Highmark, whoever. So they don't necessarily see that it comes from the painters union or the electricians or whoever. So that's why we wanted to pull that number and say, this is what we're paying into hospitals. So they, kind of put that face with that name of like, oh, all we see is Blue Cross Blue Shield writing us a $2 billion check. We didn't realize of that 2 billion,
Mhm.
1.1 of it was from the trades folks or whatever the case may be. And so, I think it's really important to put those faces with these, numbers and all that. And that's why, on the legislative front, we always are asking folks to come down and talk to legislators, go to your county commissions, your city councils and talk to them because as your slogan is, every member matters. It really does matter. And when they see
Yes.
somebody they know, it matters even more.
Yes.
It really does, you get more out of it from the more you put into it.
Yes. Yes, it does. Well, I appreciate your time today, Justin, for our Every Member Matters podcast here. Um, I'm just trying to get out the message. We want our members to realize each and every one of them matter to the economy. And on behalf of the IUPAT, I want to thank you for your hard work through the ACT Foundation that you do to showcase what our members are, what they do, their skills. And so I'm sure we'll be talking more on this show, but I appreciate it. And it is all about every member matters.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you and appreciate all your members.
Thank you.